Welcome to another episode of Satisfying Static.
Hello, hello.
I have 0 pieces of housekeeping. I'm working a night shift today, and that sucks. That's about all I got.
Oh, boo. Okay. Well, I guess I have a few. One is that some of my, can I call them coworkers? Some of my people that I work with now know I have a podcast.
Woo!
Woo! Those of you who can't see the look on my face, it's terror.
It's genuine excitement. It really is.
I thought it would be so cool and fun to have my mic in the background when I was on Zoom meetings because I'm techie and cool.
Right.
And realized that the people would start asking questions about that. So that was my fault. But anyway, hi, David. Thanks for listening.
We love David. We love David. Thank you. Thank you for your undying support, David.
We appreciate it. So that's a fun one. Every time that happens, when people ask me about stuff, I immediately go into brain panic where my brain goes through every episode we've ever done and I think about all of the horrible things I've said about myself. And yet I still do it. It's like I'm a glutton for punishment. Other thing, I went to my first Dodgers game last night for Pride Night.
Woo!
Go Dodgers. They lost, but it's okay. But I was really excited because I'm not a sports gay. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I don't sports. Absolutely
right.
Couldn't care
Olivia's
less.
the same way. She looks at the TV screen and goes, "Go sports."
Yeah, literally. What ball are we using for this one?
Right.
But I do like going to games. I enjoy, like, obviously the experience is a lot different, and there's like nachos and a helmet and people
nachos
yelling
in the helmet,
and which I got, of course, because
that's my favorite keepsake. Yeah, that's the best one.
Of course. I got way too excited when I saw that because I forgot they do that, and so that was my mission. But yeah, no, it was great, really fun, like great energy, great vibes, great show. Great game, I guess. I
was gonna say, wow, you just said great show.
Well, no, because it was Pride Night, so there was acts and stuff before.
Oh, okay.
And after.
Right. There's like a whole thing.
There's like a whole, and there was a DJ, and yeah, it was like a whole thing. So, because it was Pride Night. But also because it was Pride Night, there were protesters. So that was interesting to see, because I haven't like personally experienced a whole lot of that yet in my life. And we took the bus there. And so for anyone who saw on the news how many protesters there were, I got there very early. So it was not what was on the news. It was like a line of people along the street, maybe. But even that, we were kind of shocked because it was like down the whole drive from basically turning to get into Dodger Stadium. And we had been told that they were going to be in like a back parking lot. So we were like, oh, good, we won't even see them. And like, as soon as the bus turned, we we're like, oh my goodness, what is happening? So many stop anti-Christian hate signs, just as far as I can see. So that was interesting. I will say a lot of people were asking me about like how that affected the game and stuff. And to be honest, like, thank you to the Dodgers, because as soon as we entered the gates of that parking lot, couldn't see them, couldn't hear them, different like levels. I was on different levels of the stadium and like looking out over LA and stuff and had no idea where they were. Like once you were inside, there was no hate, no protesters. It was just all really fun, positive. When we left, didn't see any of them, nothing like that. So honestly, my whole experience with it was very minimal. And I'm super grateful for that. So for anyone who's curious.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get hate crimed. That's cool.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that I hope no one did, but I didn't look at the news this morning, so we'll see. But yeah,
nothing's broke national headlines yet, at least from what I've seen.
It was just a lot of people. We honestly, like, some of the girls were pulling it up on Instagram and stuff while we were in there. And we were like, oh, this is like tripled since when we saw it. So, yeah, we saw the aerial photos and stuff, but again, like from the stadium, had no idea.
Could you imagine if all of those people came together to fight homelessness or,
something helpful?
The drug pandemic.
Yeah.
Really anything else.
Yeah, I know, right? It would be so nice. Would be so nice if all those people were building a homeless shelter.
Or, yeah, volunteering with Habitat for Humanity, or really anything else. I mean, I shouldn't say anything else. We don't want them to get back into book banning, but most
They're
other
still doing
things.
that. They're still doing it. They never
Yeah.
stopped.
Hey, shout out to our alma mater, Illinois, just banned book bans.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh, look, something to be proud of, I guess.
Yeah, woo, Chicago.
Woo. So yeah. See, hey, that's a positive. Positive. But yeah, I mean, in a sea of bad, there's always like little glimmers of positivity. So that's one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's that. I guess I lied. I have a little bit of housekeeping. I
Ooh.
found a company for the rebrand that I will be working with, which is exciting.
Ooh, that is exciting.
I had originally thought about waiting it out a little longer, and friends of ours recommended these two women. They're twin sisters. And I met with them, and they were lovely, and the price point is right where it needs to be, and they'll cover both Christine Kapow and Millimeters of Mervyn. So hopefully we'll have a functioning Millimeters of Mervyn website by like Christmas of this year.
Cool. That's
Which
going to be
would be
exciting.
ideal. Yeah.
Yay, progress. We love to hear it.
Yeah. No, I think that's really it for me. Let's find a word.
Time to warm up the machine.
Find a word. Warm up is appropriate. It's just not fired up. It doesn't get red hot, It's a cool warm up.
Just kind of buzzes. The new sound for the generator.
That's pretty much the. I wish I could do a click like a. That's more what it does.
That's the generator turning on.
That's exactly right. First word of the day is abridge or abridge.
Abridge. Okay, wait. We might need to Google this one because I'm not a million. I think it means to like shorten, but I'm not honestly 1,000,000% sure what this word means and how to use it outside of like an English class.
Do you think it's a bridge too far? That was a joke. That was a bad joke. Okay. So, correct. It is to shorten a piece of writing without losing the sense. The introduction is abridged from the author's afterword to the novel.
Oh, okay. So specific to writing. Then that makes a lot of sense. Because I was like, when would I ever use this word in like a sentence in my life?
It can also be used in reference to law as a verb, to curtail a right or privilege. Even the right to free speech can be abridged.
Oh, okay. Okay. That feels more functional.
I'm very confused because it, in one sentence, can mean to shorten something, or in another sentence, it can mean to just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, or I guess like shorten the amount of law you are allowed to receive. Rights?
Yeah. Take rights away? Yeah, that's what that means. Yeah.
Shorten the amount of rights you are allowed to receive.
Boy, I don't think any of us love right stealing here.
No. Probably not a huge fan of that. I would hope most listeners aren't. But you never know. People are surprising you nowadays with their right stealing.
I really don't. Yeah, seriously. Excuse me. I really don't have much to think about with a bridge, except if you stare at it long enough, it looks like it should say a birdcage.
It does kind of, yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, I don't have a lot for a bridge either. It just makes me think of like English classes and college. So.
Okay. Well.
On to the next.
Ample or ample?
Ooh, I like ample.
It's nice. That's nice. I made it a little French. Yeah.
I like that. Ample. It sounds like something you would order. Like at a restaurant.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like an entree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to have the ample entree.
Oh my god, what was the actual word?
It's ample. AMPLE. You have had ample time to study the word.
That's literally the exact thing I thought of. Is that like the most common use of ample is like ample time? because
Yeah.
we have ample opportunity. We have
Yeah.
ample. Well, anyway, that was the first thing it made me think of was time, which, is a trigger because I have ADHD. So I was like, that whenever I think of that phrase, like ample time, it always makes me panic because I'm just like, no, that's incorrect. I do not have ample time to do shit. So you need to calm down.
Right. Ample is a synonym for abundance. And when I think I have an abundance of anything, I'm wrong and I don't have it. But when I think I have none of it, I actually have an abundance of the thing.
Yeah, yeah. Is that an ADHD thing? We're just opposite about that, but I don't
I've been
know.
told I've been told it has something to do with our object permanence, but I don't know. I'm like, I don't have enough toilet paper. And then I buy like a huge thing of toilet paper and then I go to the bathroom and I'm like, oh look, I've got 60 rolls of toilet paper
Right.
already.
Right. And then you're like, oh, I don't need toilet paper. I bought like 70 rolls. I'm fine. And you open the cabinet, you're like, there's one in here? What happened to the
Yeah.
70?
Yep. I did the same thing with deodorant, right? So I was like, I kept buying deodorant when I was running out, but I wasn't actually running out. I had all this deodorant that I just wasn't using in like a bottom drawer. And so I was like, no, Christine, you can't buy deodorant until you use all your old deodorant. So I haven't bought deodorant in probably 7 months now. And then just like 2 days ago, I was running out and I was like, oh no, Olivia, can you buy me deodorant? Because I'm actually almost out of all my old crappy deodorant.
Yeah, I've done that with a lot of things. I've done that with garbage bags. I've done that with toothpaste. I
Mm.
can't tell you the amount of toothpaste I one time found in the back of my like bathroom cabinet thing.
I
I
made
was
a
like,
video about that, about toothpaste. Use all your samples before you use your new stuff.
oh, that's
And it
so
has an
smart.
expiration date on it.
Oh.
Toothpaste
Well,
expires, and I opened up some old ones thinking that it was a BS thing, and it looked not right. Like it really does
gross.
expire. Yeah.
Well, luckily I went through most of the toothpaste that I was hoarding, but that did happen.
Yeah.
And lots of other little things. Barbecue sauce for a while was a bad one where I was like always running out of barbecue sauce. So you're always buying a new bottle, and then all of a sudden I go in the pantry, there's like 7 in there. Like, why?
Yeah. We keep a ton of soy sauce from our favorite sushi place because if they don't give us enough soy sauce, we have extra. It got to the point where we had so much extra. Olivia put it all in this big, like, Ziploc, like this huge Ziploc, and took it to the community fridge and was like, we can't keep all of this soy sauce, Christine. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, we could need it one day.
One day we'll go through with a pile of soy sauce. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I guess you explained it. It has something to do with our object permanence, but yeah, I agree. I also feel that all the time. When I have an abundance, I don't. And when I don't, I do.
Yeah. It's really bad with money. Like, I feel like I have more money than
Mm.
I would have ever dreamed of me having, 5 years ago. And yet I'm like, it just isn't enough. It just isn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably a common feeling for people a lot of times, but especially because, gone are the days of having to like pull out a wallet and like cash. And so, like, you're just swiping all the time. It's so easy not to think about it or see it or, like, really just be able to ignore it, honestly, all the time because you don't have to look at your bank account for a long time if you don't want to.
Right. Until you swipe your card and it just doesn't work one day. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
wait.
They're like, oh, shit, am I out?
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
But I heard something on the news or whatever that was talking about that like that's actually a pretty common feeling among people now is that like a lot of people avoid looking at their bank account because it gives them anxiety because like you swipe and you just never see it, so you don't have to be fully aware of how much money is in there, how much you're spending, how much is going out. And like I know I avoid that, but like I avoid a lot of things, so
That's like my credit card statement. I really don't look at my credit card statement until about 3 days before I get paid because I'm like, no, Christine, you can't do anything about it. Okay. You've already spent the money. It's already gone. It's already gone. You've swiped it a lot. So maybe swipe it less
yeah. Yeah.
in the next 3 days so that when you get paid, you can just pay it off immediately and it's not a big deal. Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised and I've thought that I spent a lot of money and then I check my credit card statement and there's like nothing on there and I'm like, oh, look at me go.
I know, I love those days. I feel so proud of myself on those times when I'm like, oh no, I've really fucked myself over this month. It's been a bad one. I need
Yeah.
to calm down. And then I open the bank statement and I'm like, oh, I only bought DoorDash twice this month. I'm doing great.
Oh my God. Twice this month. I'm lucky if I don't do it twice in a week.
I know. I used to be really, really bad with it, but I had to cut back because it was literally unsustainable. So,
Yeah, a buddy of mine from France, the other Maggie, and I were just talking the other day,
oh,
and she's like, it's so hard in America because a lot of what you can get on DoorDash is very equally priced to what you're paying in the grocery stores right now. So it's
yeah,
like kind of tricky because to buy a nice meal that you can make at home in France, it's literally like one third the cost of going out to eat.
yeah,
But here she's like, I can DoorDash for almost, a couple dollars more or less than what I would have paid to make the meal.
yeah. That is very true, and like that makes it extra hard for those reasons. Is like it's extra time, extra work, extra effort, extra energy to go to the grocery store, pick up the ingredients, make the
Yep.
meal for yourself. And if you're only paying like $5 more, and that's including like delivery fees and everything,
Yep. Yep.
you're just going to order it.
Yep. And that's the thing. I talk about it all the time, but I'll pay for stuff that saves me time
Oh yeah, me
every
too.
time.
I mean, I think that's totally valuable and worth it. I don't think anyone should feel bad about that ever, but like, yeah, like at some point I knew that like ordering out all the time wasn't financially sustainable because like
Hmm.
it used to not be. But at this point, yeah, with grocery store prices, like I went on a grocery store run to get like 2 bags of stuff, like really nothing, like coffee and a couple frozen pizzas and like some strawberries basically. And it was like $80. And I was
Yeah.
like doing it in an effort to save on ordering out, and I like didn't want to go like order a pizza or whatever, and I was like, all right, I'll spend like $10 more and then I'll have food for the week. No, it was double the cost.
Right. Right. And when I was in the Midwest, I shopped at Aldi a ton.
Hmm.
And when I moved out here, I was like, I still want to shop at Aldi. The closest one is about 25 minutes away. Well, one time in traffic, it took me 45 minutes to get there. And I was like, I'm never doing this again
Yeah.
because now it's 90 minutes to save me $40 when I have a
Right.
grocery store literally less than a song's length away from our house, like 3 minutes away.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't make sense for me. Like $40 to save, you know, 45 or well, an hour at that point in drive time. I'm doing it every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear you. I know some people are not like that, but I think that time is super valuable, and like I waste a lot of it already. So if I can
Yeah,
save
I
little
do.
bits here and there, I will.
Right. I waste enough time on my own. Thank you. I don't need
Mhm.
something else to help me do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm already slammed with deadlines and rushing most of the time anyway, due to my own fault. So like I don't need the extra stress there. Um,
No.
but yeah. Anyway, so now that we have ample time to discuss another word.
I'm not gonna lie. The word ample makes me mad because it looks like sample without the S, and I just feel like who did that? Who was like a sample size, which is a small part of something. Let's drop the S and let's say ample's the opposite of that. Let's do that. And I want to know what person invented that word.
I didn't think of it that way, and that's hilarious. I love that. That's making you angry today.
It's just really annoying to me. Again, I'm also sleepy and cranky, so like here we go.
So probably a lot of really little annoying things for you today.
Yeah. How about opera or opera
Or Oprah.
or Oprah? It's not.
That's not Oprah.
No. No. Opera. Opera.
OP. Oprah.
Stop saying Oprah. It's not Oprah.
Well, that's what opera makes me think of.
Opera makes me think immediately of Italy.
Interesting. Why?
Um, there's that scene in Saving Private Ryan where
Nope.
they're either in France or Italy at that point. And do you know what Saving Private Ryan's about?
I do. Yeah. World War II, right?
Saving Private Ryan. Yes, it's World War II. They're Private Ryan is somebody who's in the military, and all of his siblings got killed, so he's the last one. So this mother is like devastated, and the military's like, we should save this one guy. So they go to get this one guy, and it's Tom Hanks is in it, and Matt Damon is Private Ryan.
Okay.
That's that. But so they're on the way to get Private Ryan, and they're in this scene, and it's either in France or Italy. I feel like it's in France, but it's an Italian opera singer, And this guy who understands Italian is like sitting there and he's able to talk about what she's singing about. And it's like this beautiful piece of like him getting emotional about this woman singing about these things. And so now I always think of opera in Italian.
I, okay. And apparently Saving Private Ryan, when you think of opera.
Right.
But,
and the Sydney Opera House.
oh, okay. Because it's gorgeous.
Right. It's like Sydney's one architectural thing, right? Like they don't get to have a Space Needle and the Statue of Liberty and all this other stuff. They get the Opera House.
The Opera House, yeah.
And bushes.
I mean, and bushes.
Yeah, when you think of Australia and you think of landscape, you think
not
of
opera.
You think of right. You think of the Opera House, and then you think of the outback.
I don't know if bushes was the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the outback, but yeah, okay.
Really? Those little scraggly bushes? Those little scraggly bushes on like desert is what makes me think of the outback.
Oh, no, when I think of outback, I immediately think kangaroos. Like that's the first thing. Kangaroos and koalas are like the first two things that pop into my head.
I think of a kangaroo in front of a scraggly bush on like a kind of desert. And then you turn around to the other half of the country and then there's Sydney.
Apologies to any Australians listening.
Yeah, this is not meant to be offensive.
But it might be, so we're sorry if it's coming off that way. We're just...
In our defense, it's just like you guys thinking all of America is corn in Southern accents.
Which is fairly accurate, though.
That's not accurate. The South makes up 1/3 of the country.
It's a big chunk, It's a big...
Okay.
Yeah, but like at some point, like Illinois becomes the South, Like, we talked about
this.
Well,
to Canada, sure.
Well, no, but we talked about this. Like, at some point, you drive far enough south in Illinois and people start getting a Southern twang, and you're like, where am
I? Yeah. I'm talking like deep South. I'm talking
true.
like Mississippi, like, Alabama.
Yeah, like actual, like Southern
Louisiana,
accent.
Kentucky.
Not that.
Some parts of Tennessee.
Some parts of not that backcountry twang. That doesn't count.
No, not that weird. I'm from Southern Illinois, so I think I'm Southern, and you're not.
I think it's so interesting to me. This country is like so massive. There's so much I don't know about it that, yeah, it does sometimes feel like it's all corn and Southern accents.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that isn't from the United States would be like, I'm sorry, you put ranch on everything? And I'm like, okay, I don't, but certain people in my country do. Yes, this is true.
But people do, yeah. People do.
But that's like us going up to Australians and going, all of you are putting shrimp on the Barbie, right? And they'd be like, no, we're not.
You all eat Vegemite all the time?
Oh, right. Isn't that their little like snack things that they have?
It's like a spread.
Yeah. It's like Nutella, right?
I don't think it's like not same flavor, but same concepts.
Vegemite.
I believe. I think you can put it like a spread on sandwiches. Somebody, an Australian, explained it to me a long time ago. And I have immediately forgotten, obviously. But yeah, that was the one takeaway. I was like, oh, you all eat, what's a Vegemite?
Yeah, we're looking it up, folks. We're looking up the Vegemite definition.
I'm pretty sure it's like a spread, but yeah, that's the one thing I always think of when we're like, oh, it's like telling all Australians, like, go shove your Vegemite.
This description is not great. Thick, dark brown Australian food spread made from leftover brewer's yeast extract with various vegetable and spice additives. It was developed by Cyril Callister in Melbourne, Victoria in 1922. That's over 100 years old. Vegemite is over 100 years old.
You said yeast?
Yeah, it's made from leftover brewer's yeast extract with various vegetables and spice additives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so still does not clarify what the hell Vegemite is, but it is a spread you can put on things.
It has a complex flavor that is profoundly savory and hyper-rich in umami. It almost has a meaty flavor like a demi-glaze or rich stock.
Okay.
Think of it like a bouillon paste.
Okay, that is kind of what I had in my mind, but why would people eat that? Like the
Yeah, they said it's
idea.
just like beef bouillon.
Oh, okay. Okay, that is exactly what was forming in my mind, except why except like would you put it on a sandwich? How is it eaten?
Yeah, they literally just they like spread it on toast. It's like their
Yeah.
toast
Okay.
rather than butter. They put Vegemite on there. I
Yeah.
can't say I'm for it. I
I
can't say I'm against it.
I haven't tried it, so I'll reserve passing judgment until I'm able to taste it for myself. But I will say, my stomach is not a fan right now.
Have you ever been to an opera? Have you ever been to a Vegemite opera?
I have never been to a Vegemite opera. I've also never been to an opera, but I would love to go. I loved Chicago every year does like an architectural week where these
Mm-hmm.
like hugely famous buildings are open to the public and you can go and
Right.
wander around and like sometimes there's info or tours or whatever. And so the opera house is usually one of those, or that the different theaters are usually some of those buildings. And like I've been in there, and I've always wanted to like just get dressed up really fancy and like go to the opera or a ballet, because that feels like those are things that you're supposed to dress up fancy for.
Right. Yeah, you are supposed to dress up fancy to go to the ballet or to the opera.
So
Of
yeah,
of
that's my
those
only
things,
reason.
I think I will go to a ballet before we go to an opera. I can't imagine Olivia would want to do an opera over a ballet. Yeah, she's giving me a thumbs up from the couch.
Yeah, I figured that because Olivia's a dancer, you guys would rather do a ballet, and I think I would like to experience both, but I think I would love to experience an opera just for the like sheer power of these people's voices. Like the skill is
Yeah, no, it's
ridiculous.
super cool. Yeah. Do you watch Drag Race much?
Not very often, but I'm familiar.
So Monet Exchange from Drag Race
Oh
is a
yeah.
trained opera singer. Yeah, and like has posted some opera stuff. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I
this
didn't
is
know that.
fascinating. Oh yeah. Like he did it in a challenge once and then he posted like right after his season, he did like a mini tour with like an opera group of some sort. It was
That's
really cool.
cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I think it's so interesting. It's just like an art form we don't really give a shit about anymore, it seems like. But like
There
the
just hasn't been a really great movie to market it like Acapella got Pitch Perfect.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like opera is difficult to modernize, but maybe people are doing it and I'm just not aware. But like I was a music major in high school and I was in choir, so we studied a lot of operas and stuff because like the amount of work and like training you have to do to be an
Oh
opera
yeah.
singer for your voice. I mean, like before there were microphones, for your voice to have to, that was the goal, is
Yep.
your voice has to fill that entire theater. And that's how they
Yep.
still train. Like I'm sorry. So somebody on that stage, if you took all their microphones away, you probably could still hear them all the way in the back.
There has to be a push to
I'm
modernization
wondering
of
now, cause like yeah,
opera.
cause like even most operas that are in performance are ancient and in other languages, like modern English operas. Like I don't even know that there are that many English operas. They're usually like in Italian or French.
Yeah, it just says this Italian opera theater that's been open since 1829 is trying to modernize it. They're making it more of a theatrical performance. So there's movements, there's set pieces, that kind of stuff. Olivia is violently shaking her head yes on the couch. So
Okay, interesting.
it's pretty violently, sweetie. It's like it's far enough in now, right? Like you're really selling that you're saying yes. She's like, it's not violently. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of violently.
Well, that's interesting. I'd be down to see how that works. But yeah, it's been I feel like opera is just a really difficult art form to modernize. We'll see. Someone can do it. Someone out there wants to.
I mean, we've modernized classical music. Look at Bridgerton's entire playlist.
We've modernized everything. Like it's definitely doable. It's just like how do you make a hip
How do you
hop?
do it?
How do you
Yeah.
make a hip opera?
First of all, if somebody doesn't make one that's called a hip opera, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad. A hip opera?
A hip
Stop
opera.
it. You better make a hip opera, and the merchandise better have a hippo doing something hilarious on it.
I love it. But no, I mean, like, it's someone's had the idea out there. There just has to be interest. But I feel like so many people nowadays don't even know what opera is. That, like, even if you said like, "Oh, I'm trying to modernize opera," they'd be like, "What's an opera again?" So I think we just need to see it, and then people would be like all for it.
On the same vein, I could just imagine the next generation of people being like, "Yeah, we're super into opera."
Yeah, totally.
Just, just because it's super retro, right? They're like, "Yeah, I'm super into opera." Like corsets are making a comeback, right? Like all these terrible fashion choices are making a comeback. Opera's next on the list. It's coming back.
Oh my god, it's so 1880 retro.
Oh my god, it really is, right? Like vinyl discs made a comeback. Okay, record players made a comeback. Opera's coming back.
Everything comes around. Yeah, no, you're totally right. And that kind of like Renaissance-y look is definitely coming back in fashion for women. So I'm curious. We'll see.
Yeah, these like super fruffly things that are like half ripped up. It's fascinating.
Oh yeah. Well, there's two things happening in fashion at the same time that are making my head hurt. One is the like Renaissance-y, like ditzy floral corsets, ruffles, frilly, like very extra feminine look. And the other one is the early 2000s fashion had no rules and nothing makes sense era.
Yeah,
which was
we're all back into baggy t-shirts.
No, it's like you're wearing a ripped up jean skirt as a shirt, and you're wearing like a jean jacket as pants. You know what I mean? And like everything has ruffles, but for no reason, and everything's ripped up, and nothing that you're wearing matches. Like, yo, listen, I know that was a trend, but not all trends need to come back. Sometimes
the plastic chokers are back.
Sometimes we made mistakes. You know what I mean? Like some things can die.
Yeah.
Some things can die. So like I hear you, but I feel like two of those things are smashing into each other sometimes, and it's making it so much worse. It's just making it worse.
Yeah, it's rough. Fashion's in a rough spot right now. It's in a rough spot.
I hated this era. I hated the freaking early 2000s pop singers wearing like pencil thin mini skirts and I don't know, a long sleeve ripped up t-shirt. What? It was horrible.
Well, and every man ever had plastic tips or the, frosted tips.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They all have that weird, everything's undercut, but then they have the huge swoop back in the front.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where all the sides are shaved, but they have like a central piece of hair that goes backwards. It's, I don't get it. Men's hairstyles, I don't understand.
Men's hairstyles are interesting. Hairstyle trends are also interesting. I was very into when like all these like mid 90s women's hairstyles were back into fashion. They still are, all these blowouts and stuff. And then I remembered that it makes everyone look like a mom.
Yeah. Olivia the other day,
it's literally mom hair.
After she got her haircut, she like had this very teacher outfit on, and I'm like, oh, you've never looked so much like a teacher than like in this moment, like very teacher energy.
Yeah. It's the hair. I'm telling you, it's because the trend for women's haircuts right now are these like billowy layers with these blowouts that is giving everybody like Rachel from Friends in the early days where like she had mom hair. Like, don't get me wrong, she was still hot, but she was rocking mom hair. They were all rocking mom hair in the 90s, and now so are we. Why did we do this to ourselves? Why?
Olivia is hotter than Rachel from Friends.
Oh, look, I'm not saying we're not still hot. I'm just saying we're all hot moms now.
We're all hot moms now. That's funny.
I swear, like after I cut my hair too, and then I was wearing like stud earrings, like just little studs, which I almost never do because it makes me feel like a mom. I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, absolutely not. Like I'm going to shave my head. What is going on?
You know what though? All these hot moms just need to go to the opera. Okay.
Oh no.
Find some hot zaddies.
I don't know if zaddies hang out at the opera. Maybe they do. Maybe that's why I can't find one.
Rich zaddies hang out at the opera. Okay. The
Guess
ones
I'm
who got that
going to the
generational
opera.
wealth. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess your girl will be digging through her closet and going to the opera tonight.
Woo! Well, I think we've spent ample time here.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that. All right.
Hey,
Cool.
thanks.
Look
I
at
forgot the
that.
first word. Oh, abridged. I got nothing for that one. I wanted me to try.
All right. Well, let's abridge this ending. Anyway, this has been
Ooh!
fun.
That was great.
Until next time, you guys.